Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. The T20 World Cup is over, but the much awaited Paytm series is back. Full stands in India. Better pitch to bat on, I would say, as well. But yeah, India versus New Zealand. India winning by 5 wickets. A new era starting with the new change, a new different captain, different coach, and winning the toss also. Major part of it. We saw a bit of dew as well, but I have with me my co-host Abraziz. How are you, man? And how did you enjoy the game? I'm sure you're watching it very closely. You're a huge fan of Rahul Dravid, and yeah, it's the start of a new era.
For me, yeah, absolutely. I think it was. Yeah, there were only a couple of things there. There was some self-made roadblocks towards the end over there. It shouldn't have
Yeah,
happened.
good
I think at
point.
the end of the 15th or the 16th over, they should have really knocked it out of the park from there. But they made a little bit of a task of it, a little bit of a meal of it. But luckily enough, they came through in the end. I was genuinely looking forward to Venkatesh Iyer finishing it. It would have been perfect. And when he hit that four, I was like, okay, this is it. He's going to finish it. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, didn't work out. Wasn't meant to be. But Rishabh Pant in the end was able to finish it off. Couple of things that they will want to improve on, some fine tuning. But I think that it's off to a decent start. I think for sure.
Yeah, I think one thing I wanted to ask you though, did you see a different type of approach, or is it just too early to say that? For me, it was more of a similar kind of approach. I didn't see much different. It was just winning the toss, the same players. Bhuvneshwar Kumar, I just want to talk about him. Finally finding some form. 13 dot balls. That delivery to Mitchell was outstanding as well. Got him bowled. 13 dot ball deliveries, changed his pace well, was very good at the death, and more like the Bhuvneshwar Kumar we wanted to see. So it's just these good players finding some form, finding some rhythm again, getting back into their groove, right? More than anything else.
Absolutely. I think the one thing that I had always criticized under the Virat Kohli era was the fact that the players weren't given enough time to settle down and make the most of it. Towards the end of his towards the end of his stint, we saw that happen a little bit more. We saw a few players get a little bit more chance to just gel in, but there was just always a little bit too much of chopping and changing. I think the one thing that I would love to see from this new era would be once you bring in a player, like for example, you bring in Venkatesh Iyer now, right? You give him enough chance to prove his worth, and then if he doesn't perform, of course you can drop him. But it's not easy, coming from Venkatesh Iyer. No one really knew who he was. Suddenly comes into the KKR team in the second half of the IPL, performs like an absolute beauty, and then suddenly just gets into the Indian team. Comes in at number six, which is a different role from what he was performing at the IPL. So there's a lot of chopping and changing. There's a lot of mindsets that you need to get used to. Opening is a very different way, and number six is a very different way. I would really hope that players are given the opportunity to really set themselves up and get into a position where they can perform. For example, Bhuvi, today you saw that if you back him and if you put faith in him, he's a good bowler. There's still some good bowling left in him. A couple of years of good bowling you can really get out of him still, I think. And he's a very improved bowler even in the death. Before he used to be problems with that. I think he's really changed his the slower ball, the knuckle ball, the Yorkers. He's doing well. So give it back him and tell him that you're going to be a part of this setup. See how it goes. That would be one thing that I'd be really looking forward to seeing if Rahul Dravid and Rohit Sharma can inculcate that in.
I'll tell you why I think that happened. Because if you notice Dhoni's last 3 4 years after 2013, Dhoni did not win a world trophy either as
Yeah,
captain. Right, he
yeah,
was there for 3 or 4 years. He didn't
yeah,
win a. Over there, he was backing the same players. They were not performing at times. It was the opposite issue. Then
yeah,
when Virat Kohli came in, he backed those same players. Whether it was Yuvraj Singh, Ashwin, Jadeja in the limited overs format, he was
yeah,
backing them. They failed in the Champions Trophy final. Yuvraj failed in that 2014 under Dhoni. Then 2016-17 also Kohli got him back, but Yuvraj failed. Then I think he took a different approach because this was not totally working for
yeah,
him.
yeah.
So I understand where you're coming from, but it's a very fine line. And also, like, backing them, but how much do you back them? Who decides that? That's where
Sure.
Rahul Dravid is the key. For me, it's about preparation. I think, preparing before tournaments, preparing before the way you prepare. You don't play an IPL before a World Cup, like right before 3 4 days. You
Yeah,
need to have
yeah,
some rest, and you need to play warm up matches. You need to play practice matches. When you go on a tour to South Africa, which is coming up, you need to have warm up games. How do you prepare for that? How do you adjust to the conditions? For me, it's more about that. I mean, we all have our opinions. It's not like you're wrong or I'm
yeah,
right or
yeah.
anything like that. We all have our opinions, but just for me, it's that kind of things. But yeah, today it was too early to see anything, but it looks good. Rahul
Yeah.
Dravid is there. He looks professional. He looks awake, wide awake. He's not wearing the sunglasses in the middle of the night. He looks wide awake. And yeah, they look like hopefully it'll become more disciplined. You can't overnight change things. It is still looks like it's Virat Kohli's team, and slowly they will adapt. But Rohit Sharma, I felt he captained well. Good bowling changes. Your thought on the first innings, the way he rotated his bowlers, got Bhuvi back in the death overs as well. Akshar Patel was getting hit, then he brought in Ashwin, changed the field around a bit, and really restricted New Zealand, because New Zealand I felt were going to go 180 plus.
Absolutely. I think Rohit Sharma, we all know what a beautiful captain he is. He's just
Beautiful.
I don't know. There is sometimes words escape me, but he's just such a shrewd tactician to be, if that's a good word to put out over there. But
Hmm.
always, the other thing that I wanted to see was if he would bring in Venkatesh Iyer. He did not today, but maybe in the future there will be that need to bring in that sixth bowler. And as you see in that bowling order, Venkatesh Iyer is your only other bowler over there again. So that sixth
Again,
bowler
that's a
role,
problem, man.
yeah, that
Yeah.
sixth bowler role is something that they have to figure out. Uh, with the likes of Shreyas Iyer and Surya Kumar, if they
Yeah.
can if they can
You were
find
mentioning
someone.
Ayer can roll his arm over as well, I
I'm
think. So
I've heard. I don't know. I've never really seen it. I've just heard it, but I
I've
I
heard from
don't
someone
know.
else as well. He
Yeah,
used to, I saw him in the nets as well. I think it was in the UAE. I saw him roll his arm over as well myself. So I know that he can bowl, but it's about getting that match time. So
yeah,
basically
yeah.
practicing in the nets, and then, yeah,
Because
bowling.
you keep
I
practicing in the
don't get
nets, you
it
can
though,
you
man.
can
Like,
get.
yeah, sorry, what
I'm
were you
saying,
saying?
you can get that. You can get 1 or 2 hours out of anybody, almost anybody. I feel like in this day and age, if you keep continuously practicing, I think that it's
Bro,
not
I
as
don't get it,
bad
because the thing is,
difficult.
with this much competition in the Indian team, I understand injuries and workload and everything, but with this much competition, if you can bowl in this Indian team, you have an advantage. So why not just practice, right? Like, you have an automatic advantage, because now it's clear, everybody knows. Even commentators, Sunil Gavaskar talks about it. You go on news shows, they talk about it, that India don't have a bowler in the top six. So I don't
Yeah.
understand. These youngsters just need to roll their arm over. I know it's easy for me to say, but it's these are the professional cricketers. I'm sure they can practice this.
Absolutely. I think that definitely, when you think about you think about certain players, the likes of Steve Smith, who came in as a spinner and then became such
Yeah.
a phenomenal batsman now. So there are these examples of people in there. Of course, it's going to take time and it's going to take some effort, but I think that it's a possibility. And if you're in the setup for a long period of time, like Shreyas Iyer has been, I think a little bit more consistent practice about it with it, and get the bowling coach's opinions, get his ideas, get the likes of Ashwin, Bhuvi. These guys are experienced players. You just have to understand the way to bowl in white ball cricket, and you can get 1 or 2 overs out of Shreyas Iyer. I'm pretty sure that should not be difficult at all. Of course,
Yeah.
today they didn't need him. It is your five bowlers' responsibility to bowl well. I don't doubt that. But sometimes people can have off days. Like for example, I think Deepak Chahar had a relatively off day, even though he picked up Martin Guptill in the end. He had a relatively off day. He shouldn't be pressurized into bowling that extra over. You've seen the likes of New Zealand have played Mitchell Santner only 1 over and back in the day. They should have at least
Yeah.
have that flexibility to go to another person if needed, because otherwise the bowlers are always under the pressure, and when you're under pressure, you can tend to, instead of improving your performance, you can even worsen it a little bit. So these are things that I'm pretty sure Dravid and Rohit are aware of. It's just a matter of getting it together and just really making sure that it kind of works out.
Yeah, definitely. And Rohit Sharma, the captain, just missing out on a 50, but batted really well. Surya Kumar, back in form. But also, I think they need to learn from the way they got out. You have to finish games, because it became tight at the end. You don't want it to go that tight, especially if it was a World Cup or a big tournament. You
Yeah.
don't want it to go that tight. So maybe they'll have to be a bit more clinical. But while they were there, it looked beautiful to watch.
Absolutely, I think there's no denying the fact that Rohit Sharma and Surya Kumar. I'm going to make a very controversial statement over here, but I think Surya Kumar Yadav is probably the most clean-looking batsman at this point in Indian cricket. Rohit Sharma has a very different style about him, but I think KL Rahul and Surya Kumar come a little bit closer in terms of just pure class. And I think the fact that
But there
Surya
were
Kumar
people
is.
who were saying that Gaikwad should have opened in the World Cup. But whenever I see Rohit Sharma, I cannot understand how it's not one person. Like 10, 15 people have asked me this question. I'm like, just look at Rohit Sharma, man. He still has 1 or 2 years in him. I
Oh,
know, I understand
absolutely,
that you should go
absolutely.
to youth. There's nothing against Gaikwad, but Gaikwad has a whole career
Yeah,
left.
absolutely,
Like he has another
absolutely.
10, 15 years. This guy right now is like not at. I'm not. He's not past his peak, but the talent that he still possesses, use it, utilize it.
Absolutely, there's no denying. Rohit Sharma is probably the best batsman there is in Indian cricket right now. With due respect to the likes of Virat and maybe a couple others
Talent
here,
wise, there's no
but
doubt, man.
exactly, I think Virat has really worked on his game. Talent
Yeah.
wise, I think Rohit Sharma is up there. But I'm just saying, with the fact that the fact that Surya Kumar is a little 360, I like that aspect about him. It reminds me a little
Yeah.
bit of AB de Villiers, because I'm not comparing him to ABD at all in any sense of the imagination.
I
But I
like
think
that. I
that,
like that.
but I
I
think
hope
that
he doesn't choke like AB though. AB is a big choker, man. I'm just joking,
but
man.
I just see that, I just see a little bit of that side of him, and that's why I really love to watch Surya Kumar and KL
Yeah.
Rahul in terms of the
Opens up the
class that
field.
they have. Yeah,
He
exactly. So it's
opens the
always
field,
good to
and
see.
then he has that butter knife slice that he
Yeah,
comes up with like through third
yeah,
man. Oh, that looks really good. No, that's true. Some of his shots, you just look wow, man, and
yeah.
yeah, fantastic. I just have one more question. I mean, of course, the batting was good. Rishabh Pant finished at the end. I had one question about team selection. For me, I don't know how you feel. Feel very strongly
Chahal,
about this. If you,
I agree. I
yeah,
agree.
you.
I know. I agree with you, and I knew this is going to come in this
Did
podcast.
you see me tweet it, or I don't know? You saw my tweet?
I saw your tweet, but I agree with your tweet. I agree with your tweet. I think
Yeah,
that
no,
having a
because
leg
bro,
spinner
you
in the
look
team
at
is.
look at the four semi-finalists. You have Shadab, you have Zampa, you have Ish Sodhi, and you have Adil Rashid. Bro, they dominated the tournament. Leg spinners, especially in these conditions, even in Australian conditions, leg spinner gets you wickets and automatically has an effect on the run rate, on
Yeah,
the economy rate. So they do pick up wickets. You have to have that aggressive option.
I
Like
would.
fine
I
if you
would.
want to play another leg spinner, play another leg spinner. But you need to. You have Chahal, he's world class. If not, then play. But I think you have to have a leg spinner in T20 cricket.
I think Chahar out and Chahal in is probably what I would go with in the next game. I know that,
Deepak Chahar out.
yeah, Deepak Chahar out and
Uh,
Yuzi Chahal in is what I would go with quite easily in terms of my opinion, because because I say this because I'm banking on Venkatesh Iyer to give you a couple overs, because he's medium pace as well. So if Deepak Chahar and Venkatesh Iyer similar kind of bowlers, with due respect to each of them, but they can give you that, he can give you that medium pace option for a couple overs in the middle if needed, and
Especially
Yuzi
in
will
these
give you
conditions,
four,
you can go with three spinners. Yeah.
and Yuzi will give you four. Yuzi will definitely give you four, so there's no problem about that.
You
So
need a leg spinner, man. Even look, Todd Astle, did he pick up a wicket? But he's
no,
close to
I
picking up
think,
a wicket. He didn't.
yeah,
He
yeah,
didn't pick up a wicket, but he's not even that on that class. But he was still looking to pick up wickets. You need a leg spinner in your team,
absolutely, I
and
agree
that's
100%.
yeah. I don't know how you knew that, but yeah, player of the match.
Oof, close one. I want to give it to Bhuvi. I think Bhuvi was very, very good, especially again when he came back in the death. He should have had better figures, because I think Martin Guptill got. He should have
What
taken
was
Martin
that?
Guptill. So what was Akshay Patel doing over there? It was just such a simple catch.
He had a poor
Uh,
day at the office, Aksar
yeah,
Patel.
I think so. I think compared to his high standards, yes, for sure. But yeah, dropping that catch, I think he should have had 3 wickets for lesser runs. But unfortunately, it turns out so I want to give it to Bhuvi. With that being said, Rohit Sharma was also very good. But I think just the way Bhuvi comes back, beautiful in the beginning, beautiful in the end. I think I'll give it to Bhuvi as more. We always go with impacts, and I think that this was an important impact. So I'll just give it to Bhuvi.
Yeah, 13 dot balls, very good economy rate, picking up a couple of
And
wickets
he
as well.
also, yeah, he's also my boy from Sunrisers, so there's a little bit of bias over there as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think I would have given it to him as well, the man of the match. And Surya Kumar was another option that I was thinking about, but I think I'd go
If he would
Bhuvneshwar
have
for sure.
finished it, I would have given it to Surya Kumar.
Yeah, no, just because of I think this was a 180 pitch. 180, 190 would have been very competitive, and Bhuvi was the reason they didn't get to that. So both with the new ball and the old ball, this is the Bhuvi that we wanted in the World Cup,
Yeah,
but now we
yeah.
finally seen that. And yeah, let's see. It's very interesting because a lot of these players, Bhuvi, Ashwin, Rohit Sharma, so definitely will play the World Cup now that he's captain. Otherwise, there's no point captaining him. But I just don't know. Like, will these guys last one more year? I think now that it looks like they're in serious contention, because otherwise you back youngsters immediately, right? If you want to do a complete overall. So I think Rahul Dravid's a bit mature. He doesn't want to do a complete overall. He still wants the experienced players there. Maybe they might not even play the World Cup, the likes of Bhuvi or Ashwin, but at least them being present in the squad, in the team, might give the likes of Bishnoi, whoever comes in, the young guys, a bit of advice, and gives them that support. I didn't think of it like that, but today while I was watching the game, I realized a bit.
I think the fact that it's less than a year to go, honestly, even now, like it's what 330 odd days now left, so
Yeah,
it's barely,
almost. Yeah.
yeah, it's just a little less than a year to go. So you just play these guys in white ball T20 cricket, on and off. The likes of Bhuvi and Ashwin can be very, very good players, to have experience if they make the 15. If they might not make the 11, but if they make the 15, I think
Yeah.
Uzi makes that list as well. And I guess Bumrah and Shami come back quite easily for Chahar and Siraj. So there's these options as well. But I think I think that it would be good to have this a similar kind of side that went into this World Cup just with a few minor tweaks, and I think that would work out quite well for India. And I think because it's in Indian conditions as well, more T20s played here, that's going to help them for sure. They'll play the whole IPL, I hope, without any kind of breaks or anything of the sort. And as long as, like you said about preparation, if they get enough rest, if they're fresh in the World Cup, I think that they have a good chance of making
There's one
taking
issue
carrying
though.
the cup.
The one issue, the World Cup, the 23 is in India. This one is not in India.
Oh, sorry, I completely
It's
messed
in
it up.
Australia, and
Yes,
you need a Hardik Pandya type of player. So I
I
don't know what
forgot. I
we,
forgot about that. I was
we
thinking
need
it's
a
in Indian
video.
conditions. My bad.
No, it's fine. Like I mean, yesterday they launched ICC launched the schedule for ICC tournaments until 2030, and
We're
there's a
coming to America. We're coming to
yeah,
America,
there's
baby.
three Indian tournaments, and there's one Pakistan one, and there's one America West Indies are sharing 2024. So
Yeah.
I'll see you there for that T20 World Cup.
Oh,
But
for sure, for sure.
apart from that, yeah, I
And then we'll
think
go to West Indies and watch the finals. I think finals will be in West Indies, so we'll go watch it over there.
West Indies, yeah, yeah, it looks like that. And the under 19 also just got announced. That's in the West Indies in January. So keep
Yeah,
an eye on that. Rahul Dravid is now the coach of the senior team, but I'm sure there'll be a bit of influence there as well. So he'll have an eye definitely on that. So we'll also have an eye on that. Apart from that, the next game is on Friday, so I will catch you for that. There's also Pakistan, Bangladesh that day. Some good cricket to look forward to. It's been a very, very short break. I think for New Zealand as well, we have to mention that they just played the final and playing after 2 days. It's not fair, but this is cricket, and kudos to them to fight for fighting till the end. They didn't give up. The likes of Bolt and Sadi, you saw that passion there. I really like that. I respected that. Despite them losing, I really respected the way they fought till the end.
absolutely. I think the fact that
Yeah.
I heard somewhere that Bolt won't be playing, but for him to come out and play again just 2 days after
Yeah,
a pretty
I
hectic
leaked
schedule,
that. Yeah.
pretty after a pretty
Yeah.
hectic schedule. I was trying to be nice to you, but I knew it was you. But we also found out eventually that Kane Williamson's not playing as well. So there is this is not a full strength New Zealand side as well. But even then, after
Yeah.
that, to give India a good fight was hats off for them. More to come from them, I'm sure. I think that they'll at least be banking to turn it around. Still, there's some hope. If they win the next one, then there's all to play for in the final one on Sunday.
Absolutely, absolutely, for sure. So looking forward to that. I will catch you then. Thank you so much for joining me, and hope you enjoyed the game and rest of the series. See you
Yep.
soon, man. Take
Take
care.
care.